I was born in East LA, man. I was born in East LA.
Oh yeah, you're born in East LA. Well, let's see your green card, huh?
Green card? I'm from
Okay, East LA, we got another project here, Ascot Fireplace glass door. We're gonna go ahead and install this fireplace glass door and fire screen. And the reason why, of course, many reasons. Saves you energy. Every time in the winter time when we have our heater on, you can feel a draft coming in, cold air. And that's definitely not good as far as paying the bills. But the main reason is we had this little guy, a squirrel, and a bird. And we also had a rat make it all the way to the kitchen through the chimney. So we're definitely going to install this to keep all those critters out of here. But what I was pointing out here is the bottom. Make sure you wipe it and clean it good, because although it doesn't look dirty, look at this. I ran a cloth through there, basically a damp cloth, and it still came out pretty black. And I said just clean it real good, because the bottom gets pretty dirty, and that's just from the draft blowing in and blowing all the ashes and whatever's there, all the dirt inside. So this is definitely going to help. I ordered this on Amazon. I'll go ahead and post the link to it. But this is a frame, and I'm showing you the bottom part of it. This is the inside. There's a 2-inch adapter, basically, a plate that you could add to it just in case you needed sitting taller. But in my case, I'm not going to use that because that's going to sit right at the top of the tile, so there's no need for that. But the whole frame itself, as you can see right here, measuring it up, it measures 37.5 inches. And that's at the bottom from side to side, and from top to bottom, it is 31 inches. So the frame is big enough, which of course you don't need to worry too much about the frame. You just need to make sure that it's bigger than the opening. The opening itself on my fireplace is right here. What I'm showing you is right there. That's the opening for the screen doors. It's basically roughly about 22.5 inches from top to bottom. But the opening on my fireplace is 34 inches from side to side. So 37.5 is the whole frame, so we have plenty. You'll basically have a lip on both sides hanging over. And then from top to bottom, the opening measures 26.5. So 26.5 is definitely plenty as well, because from top to bottom the frame is 31 inches and the opening itself is going to be about 22.5. So we're good to go. So this is definitely what they call the medium fireplace frame. There's 3 sizes: a small, medium, and a large. And just make sure you measure your opening on your fireplace before you go ahead and install this. So let's get busy here. Just double checking the measurements, making sure everything looks good before I install this. So what I'm going to do next here is I already opened up the box and pulled out the frame, but I'm going to just make sure all the hardware is there before I install it, just to make sure there's nothing missing that I need to probably contact the seller. So right here we have basically the door handles. There's 2 of them, and then we have some mounting screws and some brackets with some bolts. So those brackets are basically what are going to mount on the top part of your fireplace frame. At this time now, I'm opening up this insulation. This insulation is just so you can place it on the frame all around, just to kind of keep it from any cold draft leaking into your house through the sides of the frame. Keeps it nice and insulated. So just a little extra bonus for energy savings. So I'm going to forward this a little bit fast just so I could get it all nice and installed. And it comes in 2 sizes: 3 inches for the top, 3 inches for the sides, and 2 inches for the top and bottom. So the side is much wider, so that's the reason you have the 3 inches, and then the top and bottom is 2 inches. So once that's all installed, here are the brackets again, which those are going to be mounted at the top. And those are basically so they can clamp onto your brick at the very top and keep it from falling forward. There's also a couple of smaller brackets which are basically going to mount on the side And that's only if you have a way of some brick, basically, that enough brick that'll grab onto the side. In my case, I don't need those, so I'm just going to use the top brackets here, which I just showed you how the bolts go in. And basically, it goes one on top of each other like that. So the one with the long groove goes at the bottom, and then you just slide a screw underneath, and it slides back and forth so you can tighten it. And the screws are here in the bag. You basically open it up, pull them out, and install them. And you'll have some extra screws for other components, but we only need 2 in this case for both of the brackets on left and right. Now I'm just going to go ahead and install the screw just to kind of show you where it goes. So, and it actually goes through the bottom, so I can grab onto the bottom bracket, and then so it holds onto the bottom bracket. And basically, you know, you don't want to tighten them too much so they can slide back and forth, and then it'll grab onto the brick with that bolt on the top. So that's pretty much it. We have them ready. We'll move all this to the side. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and well, what I'm doing here is just showing you where they go in the slot here, how they move up and they adjust. Basically, just insert them sideways and adjust it up and down. Here's the other side. Just insert them there, slides up and down, and they're ready to mount. So this one right here is installed backwards, so upside down. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it over and get that right. Get that ready so we can install it. So next step is I'm going to use a high heat sealant. This is a DAP product, so it's actually made for heat resistant and motor. And I'm going to have an image here. There's the image. And I'll have a link as far as purchasing that. It's usually about $4.99, $5. But I'm going to run it across here, the bottom base of the frame. And that's just so we can have a nice seal at the bottom, keep any air or debris or anything, moisture coming in. But right here is, what we're going to do is, I realize that the insulation is going to be exposed at the bottom, so we're going to remove the insulation on the frame itself. So I went ahead and used tape to mark the where the frame stops, basically, so my fireplace frame can be centered. The glass doors will be centered, so it'll stop right at the blue tape. And I have those pencil markings because that's basically where the inside part, the opening starts on each side. So the insulation, I'm going to keep it about 2 inches within the frame, and that's basically behind the tile. Everything to the right of that will be exposed to the fire, so you really don't want to have insulation exposed to the fire because it might catch on fire. So as you can see, I have that exposure on both sides where, you know, it should keep away from the fire. So the insulation part's just going to be on the inside part between the frame and the tile. As you can see, it's roughly a little less than 2 inches. So that should be good, and you know, you don't want anything catching on fire. And as you can see, it's about 2 inches off the bottom of the frame that we're going to have here. So we want to remove all that insulation because eventually it'll be exposed to the flames. Okay, so it looks like we're ready to mount. So I went ahead and ran the sealant all around the frame itself, and then what I'm going to do here is run it up the bottom base. This way I don't have to run it at the bottom of the frame and then worry about landing on the wrong spot and having that sealant all across my tile. So I'm just going to run it here about 1/4 inch into the opening of the fireplace here, just to make sure it falls underneath. Before you carry your fireplace frame, you want to make sure you tape up the glass doors. You don't want those opening up and possibly even breaking or hitting something. So I'm carrying the frame also from the inside, the center sturdy part of it. You don't want to carry it from the top and something might come off or break. Although this frame is pretty solid, pretty sturdy, but you just want to be safe. And then keep the ceiling from touching your fingers and getting it all over the place. So once I see it's aligned and ready to go in there against the wall, I'm going to go ahead and just pick it up a little bit and slide it there and let it fall right on top of the sealant. Once it's on there, I'll just go ahead and rock it back towards the wall and get it nice and flush against the wall. So now you have the sealant behind the frame that I added the bead all around, rest against the wall, and that should be good. As you can see, it's sticking onto the wall. I haven't added the brackets yet, but I want to make sure I clean off any sealant that I basically touched and accidentally placed on the frame with my finger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the glass doors now. But since the glass doors are really solid glass, I mean really nice thick glass, pretty heavy. They're pretty heavy, so once I open the doors, it's going to add some weight to the whole frame, where the whole frame could tilt over and fall. So what I'm going to do is I grab these foam tabs, these little boards of foam, basically that came with the packaging, and I'm just going to use those to wedge underneath the glass doors just so they won't rock forward. So as you can see, 2 of them is pretty much enough. If you place something underneath, like I'm going to use my gloves here, just kind of so I can wedge them in there, get them both open on each side, and this way it'll balance everything out and not have it tilt forward on me. So you definitely want to be safe and make sure you do your best here to keep it nice and neat. So I'm just wiping my fingerprints off again as I go. It's much harder to wipe your fingerprints afterwards, so it's best to just keep it clean as you go. Okay, so I'm going to use these brackets now, the ones that I put together earlier. And I just had to remove the top portion of it. I still left the one that slides into the slot there inside, but the top portion would have hit against the tile if I left it on there. So I just took it off, and I'm mounting it back on there on top of the bracket with the bolt that goes through the bottom in the slot, and then it allows you to slide it in and out. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that on the left side first. And once I get the screw on there, I'm going to go ahead and raise it a little bit, since the bracket could also slide up and down, just to get it right underneath the brick, and then tighten the top portion of it. So one side is done, and I'm just going to use that other second bracket just to show you once again. So this is going to sit on top of the other bracket with a slot, and then I'm going to stick this screw in here just to keep it nice and tight on the other bracket. And that bolt that's sticking out right there to the left, that's basically what's going to be tightened up against the brick. And as you can see, I'm going to be able to adjust this in and out, and then tighten that bolt against the brick there. So that's basically all I'm going to use to keep it from falling forward. And of course, I have the ceiling all the way around. That's going to give it an extra boost, help it out a little bit from falling, at the same time from any kind of leaks into the living room, or vice versa, any heat escaping into the fireplace area. So the second side is going on right now, just making sure the adjustments are there and tying it up against the bricks, and we should be good to go. And after that, what I'm going to do is install the handles, and that'll be the last part of it. So both brackets are in there. There's no way of it falling now. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten up the screws real quick, just so the brackets will not slide in and out and loosen up on me. So once I tighten up those screws, then that's it. We're good to go. We're solid. Okay, that's all done. So we got it nice and tight. I'm just going to double check it again, make sure if there's any more tightening against the brick. Get it done now. So there it is. Just going to make sure that there's no sealant oozing out on the sides. Everything looks nice and clean. I'm going to close the glass doors here. First, the screen doors, of course. The screen doors are really nice also. Very nice and sturdy, very well made. Close the glass doors. See how that fits. Get all this out of here, all the trash. And it looks like we're pretty much done, except for the handles. That's pretty much the last of it. So there you go. These are extra brackets that I'm just showing you right here that go mounted on the side, in case you have also the same kind of setup as the top bricks, where you could mount against it, but in this case I don't need it. So let's move to the door handles. So what I'm doing here is installing the left door handle first, and we got one of the holes here where basically fits right into it, but you're about to notice that I'm gonna experience a problem here, and I'm gonna bring out my light, and the light is that I can't find the second hole for the handle. And the reason I can't find the second hole is because there's a product defect here. Major product defect. So the bad news is that I can't install the left handle. I'm going to go ahead and install the right handle. And there's a rivet basically that's blocking the hole on the left hand side for the handle, where it should be a hole left for the screw for the handle. So I'm installing the right side, and that looks good. And I'm going to show you here real quick what the problem is. So as you can see, these rivets, that holds the frame for the glass. The glass is pretty heavy and it's very well made. So I can see all the all the hardware basically used to hold the glass, but right where my finger is at, this little bracket is mounted there, and there's the hole for the right part of the handle for the screw, and that rivet right there is covering the hole on the left side where the screw needs to go for the handle, and that bracket should be moved over slightly to the right before that hole, and there's another hole probably for the rivet that rivet should have been mounted on, which is not, and that's where the major problem is at. So they added a rivet where the hole needs to be at for the door handle. So I'm going to contact the seller, see what they can do for me. If not, I'm going to have to take this whole thing off and get my full refund, or they'll have to send me a new one. So, and according to Amazon, that's definitely a full refund is possible. So if that's going to be the worst of the worst right there, if they can't do anything for me, I'm just going to ask for an exchange or a full refund. So, but other than that, I'll keep you posted. I'll leave a message, a comment at the bottom. But other than that, we're done. Hopefully I can fix this problem with the handle and get a solution. If not, I'll get a new one and install it just like I installed this one. It's not very hard. And there it is. You have the screen doors here. So once you place your log in there and fire it up, you can close those. Not worry about ashes or sparks or anything flying out. So we're all installed in 59 minutes. You can do it. Thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe, and Lord bless this home. Say your prayers.